Hey, listen, I love your parents. They're wonderful folks. I met them at the diner this past Sunday morning. They spoke really highly of you. They mean well, and they want what's best for you. But when they start giving you job search advice, they don't really know what they're talking about. At least not anymore. And here's the thing, it's not their fault. The career that they enjoyed and the one that they're pulling all this wonderful advice from just simply doesn't exist anymore. What they went through and what you're going through right now are just so different that their advice isn't just outdated. Frankly, it's going to make some things worse. Now, I felt bad telling them because they did seem so legitimately nice. But today I'm going to walk you through exactly what's changed. And hopefully the disconnect makes sense and you'll stop taking advice from people whose experience just doesn't apply anymore as much as they mean well. Now let's start with what your parents actually experienced, because I think most people have a vague sense that it was different, but they don't really get how different. Your parents likely entered the job market at a time when the basic deal, the basic agreement between employer and employee was pretty simple. Get an education or a skill of some sort, find a company, just show up every day and be reliable, be effective. And if you're reasonably good at it and not a nightmare to be around, you likely stayed and stayed for a long time because the company would take care of you. Oftentimes, people would stay entire careers at a single employer. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect because there were certainly issues back then as well, but it was predictable. You picked a field, you got your foot in the door somewhere, probably through a newspaper ad or maybe walking through the front door with a resume in hand, built up experience that they valued for the long haul because the job itself didn't really change all that much. Sure, the tools evolved, but if you're an accountant in 1985 and an accountant in 2005, you basically recognize what you're going to be doing all day long. The way that you work didn't change all that much. Companies were also more likely to invest in people because they planned to keep them for a long period of time. People didn't really move from company to company, from region to relocate unless you were in upper management. They often funded these pension plans that we rarely see today and pretty awesome medical benefits. There was internal training, promotions from within. There weren't constant stream of layoffs, disruptions to your career. And people and bosses were more loyal to one another, just in general in that era. And this is exactly why their advice sounds like it does. The old-fashioned advice actually worked. Sorry about that, Dad. You know, the whole thing about showing up in person, asking the hiring manager with a firm handshake, the follow-ups with the phone calls that you can just simply get through to people who are decision makers. It wasn't just effective. In fact, it was expected. And everybody found their jobs that way. And when they did get a job, they kept it. They didn't get laid off a minute later. And if they ever did lose it, people looked at them like there was something wrong with them. Like, did you hear what happened to Janice's husband, Ed? He lost his job this week. Gasp. So that's what they're trying to tell you to do now because that's the only job market they ever really experienced. And they're not wrong that it worked. It just doesn't work anymore. And frankly, it really hasn't for a long period of time. Now, here's what gets interesting because this didn't change gradually. There was a specific moment where everything shifted permanently. And I know that everybody is sick and tired of hearing about the pandemic. But what happened wasn't just a disruption. It wasn't just a supply chain shortage. It wasn't just microchips that they couldn't put in vehicles that shut everything down. Companies used this as an opportunity to do things that they'd been thinking about for years. Remote work proved that a lot of roles didn't need a physical presence, which meant that they didn't need to hire locally, which also meant that you suddenly weren't competing with just 50 people in your local city like your grandfather and potentially your parents always did. It meant that you were competing with everybody across entire countries and across entire globes. But the bigger shift, and this is something that I personally have noticed and been impacted by, is that 2020 broke the loyalty deal permanently. Companies laid off millions of people in the matter of weeks. They waited for a first mover, and as soon as that first company did it, everybody else jumped on the bandwagon. Then a year later, they rehired a lot of people. Then they laid them off again. People started noticing, if the company isn't going to be loyal to me, then why am I being loyal to them? Then we saw these workplace phenomena come up, the quiet quitting, the great resignation, and all of that stuff. But that is a completely different mindset than what your parents and your grandparents had. And honestly, it makes complete sense, but it changed what a career even looks like now on both sides. Your parents never experienced this kind of market before, at least not on a widespread systematic scale. The deal that they started with, and you could argue that they enjoyed, all the fruits of their labor, cheap housing, being able to buy cars, having a family, being able to live a reasonable lifestyle on a single income and potentially even a blue collar income, that lasted for pretty much their entire working lives. Yours, on the other hand, has constantly changed over the past 6+ years. And honestly, it's not showing any signs of slowing down or reverting back to that normal. And then just when people were starting to get adjusted to all of that crap, AI shows up. So it's like adding fuel to this fire. And I'm not going to tell you that AI is going to eliminate every job, because I honestly don't believe that that is going to happen. I don't see it happening. What I'm actually seeing right now is it's giving companies a real alternative to headcount for really the first time ever. Now, not everywhere, not every role, but enough that it's genuinely changing how companies are thinking about hiring and the future of what their workforces are going to look like. Customer service teams that used to be 50 or 100 people are now being replaced by 10 or so people being able to do the same amount of work, and increasingly being replaced by these AI chatbots. I'm sure we've all dealt with them. Marketing departments that used to need a full team of writers, content creators, etc., now really just need one person who knows how to use all these AI tools really well. The tech folks know this one better than anybody, but development work that used to take a full engineering team to do is getting done faster and leaner with no junior engineers doing the grunt work. Doesn't necessarily mean they're doing it better, but they're doing it leaner and faster. Now, here's what makes this moment particularly tough, because AI arrived right after the pandemic restructuring. How convenient the timing has been on that. Now, companies are asking two questions at the same time. One, do we even need this role? And two, if we do, does it need to be a full-time employee? That question was never really asked of your parents and your grandparents. Their job existed basically as long as they showed up and did reasonably good work. You're in a market where the existence of your role and, let's face it, your career gets looked at on nearly a daily basis by people sitting up in ivory towers who have options that they've, let's face it, never really had before, even if they don't really know what they're doing. And that's a fundamental change in how companies now think about people, and your parents just simply cannot relate to it because it's never happened to them, at least not on any kind of scale like this. And on top of all that, there's one more thing that makes this moment uniquely hard for the average job seeker. More people are competing for fewer jobs. And a lot of those people are seriously experienced, probably overqualified for the roles that they're applying to, because there's not enough jobs at that level. And they're having to look at jobs that are quote unquote beneath them in order to just keep the lights on. So when companies have gone through layoff cycles in 2023, 2024, into 2025, they didn't just cut the low performers that maybe if there was a layoff a decade or 2 decades ago that they would usually cut first. They're actually starting to now cut really good, very talented people with 15, 20 years of solid experience who in a different market would still be employed right now. These people are in the same job pool as everybody else. So you're not just competing with people at your level, you're competing against people with more experience, stronger networks, with a lot of urgency to land something just like you, coming from other industries that may be adjacent, people coming up below you who are ready for the next role. It's a complete perfect storm here that your parents simply never had to deal with. When they were searching for jobs, the pool was very local. It was limited. And the really experienced people usually weren't coming back into it. They weren't part of the job market at that point in time because companies tended to hold on to those people. It's just not a reality right now. Okay, so I've just walked you through why everything feels so much harder, at least as far as careers are concerned, than your parents think it should be. And look, you can spend all the energy in the world being angry about this. Some of the anger is completely fair. I feel it too. They changed the system and they never asked what we thought about it or asked for our permission. They just simply did it. Frankly, all they did ask us was to train the systems that they wanted to implement, all the while knowing our names were on a layoff list that they were holding in the other hand. But unfortunately, being angry doesn't change what companies are doing. It's not going to go back to the way it was in 2015. I think that there are some people who are actually holding out hope that that's going to happen. And I've got news and kind of a harsh wake-up call. It's not. And this, what we are experiencing right now, is the new normal. It's time to adapt. It's time to get tired of being jerked around constantly by them. It's time to take ownership in your career instead of letting corporations with no soul or connection to the employee determine if you're worth keeping employed. It's time to stop expecting things to improve or change because, frankly, while that's altruistic and I intuitively agree with it, it's just not realistic. Unless you're able to completely step out of their system, the one that they created, the one they didn't ask us for permission for. And the last time I checked, I wasn't a trillionaire. You're basically asking sharks to stop circling you in the ocean after a shipwreck. It's time to stop waiting for fairness that isn't coming and start investing energy in building your own skills, your own options, your own strategy. And I don't care if you get triggered by me saying that. And honestly, you might want to get good at the tools that are changing everything, because people who are figuring out how to work alongside of AI, kind of working with it instead of against it, are the ones who are likely not going to be getting replaced by it. It's the people who are ignoring it. It's the people who are putting their fingers in their ears and saying, no, 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 and trying to wish it away. Listen, this stuff is impacting me too. I'm not oblivious to this. I'm doing the same thing I'm preaching about here. I'm pivoting myself. I built and I'm continuing to build SOAR as a result of the changes in the market. I'm seeing this stuff happening too, because I have no other choice. Listen, I can make all of these videos complaining about things, bringing to light all of the inequities in the world and in the job market and how mean everybody is. But guess what? It literally changes nothing. It's not going to stop them. Some CEO is not going to watch my video and say, you know what? You convinced me. I'm not going to lay off all these people and I'm not going to rip all these careers apart. But what it can change is you, if you decide to change your mindset and your approach. I created a webinar to help you better understand this. It's free. It gives you a clear path forward through your job search, but it's probably even more importantly going to help you understand how to approach your career with more strategy, because that's really what this is boiling down to. It's at that level now. It's beyond job search. It's now career. It's like a career existential crisis for a lot of people. Now, if you want to get signed up, I'll leave a link down below. Again, it's completely free. Now, is this fair? No. Your parents had it easier, and it's completely okay to say that out loud. They're the ones who got to enjoy steady salaries, no disruptions in their career, being able to raise families without any real issue, being able to buy homes that most of us will never be able to afford, being able to save for retirement that a lot of people see careening at them like a train's headlights coming at them through a tunnel. They didn't have this same issue. But the only question that actually matters right now is what you're going to do with the market you have in front of you. Now, one last thing before we end this video, I want you to share this with your parents, not start an argument, just so that they understand what you're actually up against, because they love you. They just don't know what they don't know.